I also gave this movie a finger. I'm Justin.
Where the fuck does all this laundry come from and go? I'm Sam.
Never has doing the laundry been so fucking exciting. I'm Jackie, and this is the Mangler on Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness, a podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin. With me are always Sam and Jackie. This week on the show, currently streaming on Nothing Free, but you can rent it for cheap. It's $2.39 or something, $2.89 or something like that on Amazon. It's The Mangler, based off of a Stephen King short story, which usually results in good things. Not so much here. Starring nobody I've ever heard of or seen, except for Buffalo Bob from fucking Silence of the Lambs, and directed by Tobe Hooper.
Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah, freaking Robert Englund, of course.
Robert Englund it's Freddy and Buffalo Bill against Bob against Buffalo Bill.
Yeah,
right?
Buffalo Bob?
Jamie Grubb.
No, I think it's Buffalo Bob, because Buffalo Bill's an American folklore hero, right? They wouldn't name a murderer after an American folklore hero.
No, I thought that...
They should have named him Buffalo Couch. Can you help me get this couch into my van?
No, it's Buffalo Bill because he skins his hides or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. And then he sticks his wiener between his legs and gives himself a nice fruit bowl.
Yep.
Before we get started, I want to tell a little quick story. We had a Halloween, as everybody remembers, was last week, and the children's were out trick-or-treating. So we set up a little friendly cul-de-sac barbecue neighbor hangout to pass out the candies, and we've got some new neighbors. We're hanging out with them, and hadn't said anything about anything to them really, but the dad comes up to me and he's like, "So, what's your podcast about?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? How do you know? What do you know? I didn't say anything." He's like, "Well, I can hear you." And I'm like, "Uh-oh." Yeah, your window's open and I can hear you. Apparently I didn't know that this is a thing, but apparently I get quite animated on the podcast and can get voluminous. So I was shouting through the window and he's like, "Jesus Christ, what's that guy doing shouting into a microphone on a Sunday for?" What an asshole. Yeah. So I thought that was funny. I did not know that I was quite so loud. Sam, will you tell us about The Mangler?
Well, this is probably going to be the last movie that Tobe Hooper directed that he actually wanted to work on.
Okay. That's too bad.
People remember, obviously Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but that actually wasn't his first movie. His first movie was Eggshells, which is like this sort of dystopian sci-fi horror kind of thing that he made on like 40 grand. Mm-hmm. Like amazing that it even got done. And in retrospect, people are like, what he did with that money is incredible. Then he did a documentary and then does Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which returns like 30 million on 40 grand or something like that. And
Blair Witch
got
of the
equity.
Day.
He's got equity built up. And so he does Eaten Alive, which is a crocodile creature feature that doesn't really do very well, but it didn't have a lot of gas behind it, so no one cared. And then Funhouse, which does do pretty well. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Spielberg would tap him to direct Poltergeist, which returned 127 against 10 million.
Ka-ching.
And so, but from that period of time, you've got a guy that's got a lot of equity built up in the Hollywood system. And it wouldn't take him very long to really kind of diminish that. He had wanted to do a spin-off of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he was going to do a couple of movies sort of increasing his Hollywood equity so he could really kind of do this zany business that he wanted to do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And he worked with John Milius on it. It was going to be called Beyond the Valley of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you can only imagine how bananas that would have been, it's too bad.
So a lot of really busty women. Is that what would have been in Beyond the Valley of the Texas Chainsaw? Like,
I just imagine
it's my happening and it freaks me out.
You know, honestly, it probably would have been like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Beverly Hillbillies more than anything. But I don't know. Either way, it would have been fun. But in that period where he was building up more Hollywood equity, the two films that he made were Life Force and Invaders from Mars, which both Invaders from Mars probably immediately broke even on video. But it only returned half of its budget. And Life Force did not do good. It returned half of a very large budget. Despite, until
the internet came out, and then it made back its budget in freeze frame shots.
Yeah, well,
on the internet.
Immediately it increased the boner stock of any theater.
What the hell was her name?
Playing it. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Tits McGee.
Yeah. She was good in that movie. French. You can't just call her Tits McGee because she was naked through 95% of it.
It's only the first 30 minutes or 21 minutes, but she doesn't have a line. It's just her topless for like 21 minutes. And you're like,
it was good.
My God, why isn't this didn't make money? What? This didn't make money?
I like Life Force. Aside from the
like Life Force too.
I think it's a great movie.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I like Life Force a lot. I haven't seen Invaders from Mars since it was like getting rerun on TV, and I bet I might like that one too. But either way, those don't do good. In fact, the Life Force tanked, so it's all spent. His Hollywood equity is immediately gone, and so instead of Beyond the Valley of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, he just does Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 to get back in the positive. And it did okay. It didn't do great. It didn't do like the first one, but just its sort of notoriety got it in the black. He would then do, which I think is probably my favorite, and I haven't seen it forever, so I really want to watch it again, is Spontaneous Combustion with Brad Dourif.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And then Night Terrors, which is supposed to just be pretty bad.
Okay.
I haven't seen that one ever. And this, which is like, now he's just basically, Hollywood is like, you're a loser. From here, he would do Crocodile, which is basically just like direct to sci-fi, I think, or direct to video. Toolbox Murderers. Did we watch that? Did we watch the Toolbox Murderers?
It doesn't sound familiar.
Okay. We didn't watch Mortuary, but we did watch Jinn, which was his last movie in 2011 before he dies in 2017.
Okay.
Beyond the Hollywood inequity that he had created from the equity, the other thing that happened to him is he got fired a lot. It is kind of remarkable because he's a really nice guy, and that's not sometimes the best thing to be if you're a director, apparently. So in 1979, The Dark, he got fired off of that after a few days shooting. 1982's The Thing. Was originally written and going to be directed by him, but they said, this is Moby Dick in Antarctica. We're giving it to Carpenter. Fired from that.
Oops.
King Solomon's Mines, he got fired from on Canon.
Wow.
Yeah. Return of the Living Dead, he got fired from.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Yeah. And despite that, he was still tapped on Canon. And maybe the Canon like removes him from King Solomon's Mines to get somebody that's going to work more efficiently, possibly. Because he was the guy that they tapped to do the Spider-Man when they had the rights. It was going to be Tobe Hooper.
It was. I do remember that.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And
which is strange
too bad
because
that didn't happen either.
His career trajectory, his early career trajectory is very similar to one Sam Raimi.
Who then got Spider-Man. Yeah. It's odd. But
weird, wild stuff.
Yes. Died in 2017.
Yeah.
The Ted Levine, who's Buffalo Bill, this is right on the heels of that, and it's a lead. And so I think you can really credit this film as making sure that Ted Levine never gets any leads, and he's always... Which sucks, because I like Ted Levine, and I think he could have done more leads, but at the same time, the supporting roles that he lands are like, fuck, only Ted Levine can do that shit, so it's working out for the movie business, I guess, to have Ted Levine as second or third billing.
We should have looked up before we got started to see if he got... I don't think he won, but I wonder if he got a nod for Best Supporting for Silence. Because everybody won
He did
everything
not.
for that movie, right? So
I don't think he did. No.
you don't think he got, did that kooky little dance?
Probably got a Saturn Award.
Yeah. It's not easy to, shove your crotch in between your legs and then do a kooky dance. It's uncomfortable.
And
it should be applauded.
When you see every other Ted Levine role, which is more the tough guy role like this, it's even like, what a fine job acting he did in that movie too, right?
Yeah.
Because that is the furthest thing from the typecast Ted Levine that you ever get.
Right. Yeah.
So I found it very strange that the makeup the makeup sucks.
It's real bad.
If we're going to point one thing that this movie fails at, it's the makeup, and that they were super ambitious about the makeup. Mm-hmm. I feel like the makeup is also a symptom of we need to spend this much money, and they spent that much money.
For reasons.
This returned like $1.8 million. It probably cost like close to 10, I'm guessing.
I'm thinking 10.
The guy that plays JJJ Picture Man.
JJJ Picture Man.
I love that name.
Crime scene photographer. He's the same actor
he's J. Jonah Jameson, Picture Man.
Picture Man. Yeah, he's the same actor that plays the young mortician.
Right.
And so you're like, okay, you're just flexing your makeup muscles and it sucks. Mm-hmm. Robert Englund's wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great. And I found like at the first couple of scenes with Englund, I'm like, oh my God, he's hamming it up. But after a while, he really grew on me, the way that he was moving around with those leg braces.
Yeah.
And after about 2 or 3 scenes of him, I was like, oh man, this guy is great. He is great. But the guy plays Jeremy Crutchley plays those 2 parts. Jackie was asking about Dimitri Phillips, the foreman, as it were. He's making his at least 3rd appearance on Stinker Madness, as he was also in Gas Pump Girls, Stone Cold, and Zapped.
Wow. Nice. I don't think we did Zapped.
Yeah.
I think we did Streaming Dudes.
Yes, I thought we did Zapped really early on.
No, it's really easy to find out what movies we did. You go to the website. It's called stinkermadness.com, and there's a whole list of episodes there. Yeah.
So we at least did a do's and don'ts on Zapped, and all did don'ts, and I guess never did it.
Yeah, I think I'm still a don't on Zapped. Not just because Scott Bale's a douche, but I just don't think I liked it very much. I just
think it's weird that like I'm looking at his IMDb site, and they don't have any pictures of him.
Of who?
Of Dimitri.
Because he's in fucking 4 shitty movies during the 80s.
Yeah. He doesn't have a press agent, Jackie.
He has 18.
That's not very many.
It's not, and you don't just get on IMDb and put up pictures. You have to have like an account and, an agent, and if you're not working, then why would you do that?
Somebody else that is good at IMDb needs to be in on you for you to get pictures on there.
Yeah. So help that guy out. People that are good at IMDb.
Allegedly, this was shot in both England and South Africa, but I don't believe that one bit.
I don't believe that.
I'm watching it halfway through.
Uh-huh.
I'm watching this halfway through, and I'm like, this shit was shot at Pinewood, right?
Yeah.
This is a fucking Pinewood. Like the entire movie is in one soundstage at Pinewood.
Yeah, and somebody's house. That's it. There's 2 scenes.
No, I mean the whole thing was on the soundstage.
The house where she lives is a house. That they didn't build a fucking Victorian house. But that's it. There's the exterior stuff where the officer John lives. That's soundstage, and then the laundromat. That's soundstage.
Yep.
So they did not go to South Africa to shoot in somebody's mansion. Fuck off.
No. Maybe they did. I don't know. But I mean, this was shot in Pinewood, and it just feels very Pinewoody. I would say, like, even though I'm struggling with the movie halfway through, I'm like, man, this is really paced and shot pretty well for a piece of crap. And it's like all subject matter, right? There's nothing wrong with it other than you're like, it's fucking evil laundry. This is so dumb.
There's lots of things wrong with it, Sam.
There is lots of things wrong with it, but I didn't think that Toby Hooper did a bad job. I don't think any of the actors really did a bad job. I think Pinewood just did their Pinewood magic, and it's like, wow, this is elevated above what it should be just by mood lighting the fucking piss out of every goddamn shot, no matter what.
Right.
So that was kind of nice.
Did anybody bother to look up what the short story by Stephen King was actually about?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, right.
And so this also, because the contemporary reviews were pretty hard on it, and some of the retrospective reviews are not so hard on it. One of the retrospective reviews is this is absolutely a faithful...
You're kidding.
One of the more faithful adaptations. And it's an adaptation of from Night Shift, that collection of where he was writing serials or short stories and putting them in different magazines. And this has a different ending. Other than that, this is Stephen King's The Mangler.
Because it's pretty much Stephen King's Christine, but with a laundry machine.
Yep.
So that kind of surprises me. I thought that he would, like, his short story was going to make a social commentary about, workforce safety and like OSHA stuff and like the exploitation of the labor class, things of that nature. It's not just a demon-possessed washing machine.
So you've underestimated Stephen King's ability to regurgitate material once again.
Yeah, I guess so. Because, damn.
But what came out first, Christine or The Mangler?
I want to say Christine.
Christine, I think, is a whole novel, right?
Yeah. So, and then there's Cujo. And then there's Maximum
Actually, I think
Overdrive.
this was 72 was when it was written, so...
That's pretty early.
But Night Shift was released later, but I think it was in whatever magazine.
Yeah.
In the 70s, so...
Okay. Interesting. Are we ready to do this?
Yes.
Okay, so what we've got here is the weirdest fucking thing that's ever existed. Because what the movie centralizes around is a different place and time existing within our place and time. In this modern society, it's like what you hear about textile workers suffering through in the 1850s, where there's, a guy standing on a catwalk above a bunch of ladies that are impoverished and their skin is getting, their hands are just torn to shreds from all the terrible labor that they have to do. There's no fire safety. The whole place could burn down at any point, causing the deaths of 60 to 70 impoverished women. And that's what it seems like here. Plus, this commercial machine appears to just fold sheets, but it's the size of one of those trucks that pull the shuttle onto the fucking shuttle bay. It's huge.
It's the size of a Heidelberg newspaper press.
Yeah, or like totally like the oldie time newspapers. That's what it seems like. And it's horrendously unsafe. You look at it and you're like, good Lord, I would rather stick my face inside of a combine harvester than work a day at Bartley's laundromat.
Blue Ribbon.
Blue Ribbon. We want it. We're the best folder of sheets in 6 counties of Maine.
That's the other part about it. This thing just irons and folds the sheets.
Just
That's
irons
all
and folds.
it does.
That's
it's
all
not
it-
even the washing machine.
Nope.
So I'm now going to have to burn a question because we're going to rapidly establish that this laundry facility is the lifeblood of the town. Whose fucking sheets are they? Like, are they busing it in? Are they like south of like Crystal City, Virginia or something where
They're
have like
north in Maine.
Yeah. So they're north of like a town that has a lot of hotels for tourism, like, because you have to have like 30 hotels to keep this thing fucking running.
Deadlines! We are on deadlines! The sheets must be washed and linened and folded perfectly so that they can go on a bed and then you don't have room for your feet when you try to lay in it. So you try to lay on your back, but you can't because the sheets are too tight. That's our job. We get those sheets tight. We do not send loose sheets back that people will be comfortable and they stay at a Hilton. No. Then you got to get out of bed. And then you got to pull the sheets out so you can just fucking get in the bed.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? I don't know. It looks nice, I guess. Then when you get in there, you're like, God damn it. These sheets are too tight. Yeah, it's a bizarre setup. It's a really bizarre setup for this movie. Because you're confused about the time. It's like, again, it could be the 1850s. You're confused that it might be like a prison because it seems like the overwhelming majority are young women that are all wearing similar attire, you know. It's just weird.
What's odd about it as well is that apparently it was written by King because he had, prior to becoming successful, one of the odd jobs that he worked was at a commercial laundry facility. So there was something like the Mangler. I looked up, there's modern machines that do this part of it that are very big and you could really get your hand. They look like a, 3-meter industrial laminator, but it's for sheets. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you could totally get your arm stuck in that fucking thing.
So do the sheets slide into a narrow slot and then some stuff happens and they pop out the other end? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking that you would have like a
folder
press
on the other end of that. Like there's stuff out there that's kind of like this. So the thing, obviously this isn't real because it's got like this big cast iron sort of like head plate that the cast iron is obviously sculpted foam and painted to look like, because cast iron doesn't get that wobbly. Like you don't have those big dents and grooves in anything.
No, you'd have to hand hammer
tanks
that.
never even looked like that, right?
Yeah. And then the chain system on both sides.
Yes, nothing was. This is serious business.
Like 6-inch thick chain that is exposed, calling for arms. It's just saying, go ahead, put your arm right here. It'll be fun. I dare you. You'll be fine.
This should be like the inner workings of like a steampunk floating city.
Yeah. The steampunkers probably love this shit. So sure enough, within several seconds of the movie starting, Sherry, our heroine, I don't know, she gets her hand cut on some fucking piece of this thing and starts spraying fucking blood out of her hand all over the place, all over the sheets. Those sheets are done. Nobody at no point in any time does this overworked set of laundry people ever get yelled at for all the sheets that they've ruined with all the blood that they're spraying. They get yelled at by everything else. Hey, deadlines, quit complaining about how cut up your hand is, but nobody gives a shit about the extreme amount of blood that is put on the sheets in this movie.
Well, they can just send them back through the wash, Justin.
I don't think you can. Those are pink sheets.
But I think what kind of was like, she's got this huge gash, right? And all the women folk are like, oh, well, we'll just tape it up. It'll be fine. And she's just bleeding through the gauze that they put on her hand.
Right.
I mean, she's just dripping blood everywhere. And nobody thinks like, maybe she's going to bleed out. Maybe we should,
I think you're done for the day, Sherry. Yeah, right. No, she just keeps going back to work.
And how is she supposed to do the sheets and not get blood on anything?
It doesn't make any goddamn sense. But she doesn't have time to really think about that too much because at the same time, two guys are carrying an ice box in front of the giant machine. And that is also never clarified. Did you guys take the ice box away from this place, or do you guys just walk around carrying an ice box through industrial complexes? Is that what you do?
They probably had like a loading zone, and they're like, do you want us to use the loading zone? And management was like, yes. Like, okay, we're going to carry it through the main work area. What?
Is it ours? Is that our ice box? Why do we have an ice box?
Where does that come from?
Well,
what are you doing with that?
We got it from the icebox store. Then we brought it over here and parked in the loading zone like you told us to. And now we're just walking it around in front of your quite dangerous machinery, in fact. But that's what we do here at Icebox Carrying Guys and a Truck Company. That's how we do it. That's where the big bucks come in. But then they bump into Sherry, and she sprays some more blood all over the place into the machine. Yeah. Then they drop the icebox onto the machine. Lightning bolts fly out of the unpowered icebox. It's not plugged in, nor is the machine that is pressing the laundry, because I believe it runs on steam power.
No, it's got electrical circuits from later.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So there is, okay. All right. It's not impossible that this electric icebox just starts shooting lightning bolts all over the place. I have no idea what any of that means, but Robert Englund comes out. He's the owner of this place. He lives upstairs of his laundromat in a pretty swanky laundromat manager's office that's also Victorian on the inside.
Well, later on, when we get to see the real inner workings of his office, it's like the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks.
It is like the Black Lodge. You're right. Yeah. Then there's a little guy, and he does a kooky dance. Yep. Checks out. I can just talk about Twin Peaks for the rest of the day. I can do that. I have that power.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, the guy from, Gas Pump Girls is like, oh, you fucking idiots, get that shit out of here. Deadlines, get this moving again. And they're like, okay, we're going to go take this icebox away. And I'm like, why does it have a screw bucket on the top of it? Mm-hmm. And then they leave, but this won't be the last we see of these two nutsacks in that icebox.
No, because just down the street is the peaceful town of Rikers Valley, Maine. And there we find our hero, Officer John. I don't know why he can't be Sheriff John. He's just an officer. And when you're like, if you're an officer, don't you work for like a PD? Like you're, LAPD, you're an officer. NYPD, you're an officer. But if you're like a rural guy, aren't you a deputy? Because you're the sheriff's deputy? You wouldn't be an officer. I'm the officer of the police department. Well, sir, we don't have a police department. This town has the population of 20.
No, because he seems to be with the municipality police department, whereas the sheriff is separate, because the sheriff comes in later on and he'll be like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, you fuck off. And they obviously aren't part of the same department. So if the municipality has a police department, then he would be an officer.
I think he'd be the only officer. This town seems pretty
He seems
small.
to be the only officer,
Yep, right.
And he should be a detective, not just officer.
Good point. There you go. He's driving down the road like a fucking dickhead. This guy's hauling ass everywhere he goes. And he sees the guys, the icebox delivery guys, and they slam on the brakes sideways because he's driving like a dickhead, and he gets out and yells, "Oh, why'd you do that?" And they're like, "Sorry, sir, we're just delivering this." Oh, shit, I dropped it on you. I've dropped the icebox on another person today.
Why did they get the icebox out?
Why do we have the
icebox?
icebox
This is a traffic incident.
Oh, this isn't the place where we get it out and just kind of walk it around? Shit, that's only at loading zones for industrial complexes? Oh, god damn it. We've done it again, Gary! Where are they taking it?
They don't even know because they can't read the address.
Right.
So they're like, I don't know, this person doesn't seem to be home. Let's just dump it in their yard.
Yeah. So what happens is they get in almost a fender bender, and they're like, the officer's like, hey, I'm going to write you a ticket for driving like an asshole. And he's like, hold on, we're just going to unload this ice box in this guy's yard right here.
There's a sign on the front the fence that says, do not dump ice boxes. They're just like, yeah, whatever, buddy. It's not the first time you've had an ice box dumped in your yard, is it?
Yeah.
Well, back at the laundry, the old lady Flo, I don't know what her actual name is, and I don't really care. She's like the old lady at the airport in Wings, and everybody loves her. She's a sweet old gal, but she's got a case of the indigestion because she loves Tums, She's desperate for her Tums. She gets bumped into as she's trying to get some Tums out, and the Tums land on the machine, and she's like, God, there's like 4 of them there, and I can't let a single one of them go, even though Tums are like the cheapest fucking thing on the planet.
Well, she doesn't have any more, and
oh God, I can never find more Tums.
And instead of just turning to one of the other millions of workers that are there and saying, hey, can I borrow some Tums? She's like, nope, got to stick my finger in the machine.
So
Don't lift the safety bar. Just stick your fingers in there.
It's so
also
dumb.
Untrue, because later at the morgue, she has a brand new fresh bottle in her purse that he steals.
She's Tums. She's got the Tums. She's got them. She's just can't. She loves them so much. She can't bear the thought of 4 of them getting wasted.
When I'm watching this, I'm like, right off the bat, I'm like, man, is this going to be as stupid as Dreamcatcher? And then you have like a parallel scene, because this is as dumb as when Jason Lee's like, I better get some toothpicks off the poopy ground to put in my mouth, but I have to get eaten by the ass to do that. Oh, but the toothpicks aren't in my mouth and they got poop on them. It's worse in Dreamcatcher.
It's way worse.
But it's just as dumb here, because she's like, I've got a whole fresh bottle, but there's 4 right there. And I, have a 2% chance of not being mangled.
Right. And we should also say that this machine also has the Hollywood, the machine is alive sounds going on. Like every time it cuts to it, it goes roar, and it has a little chompy arm. It's supposed to be the safety arm, but it's like bouncing up and down. It's like, put your hand in me, roar. And so she's like, oh, I don't hear or see any of that. This thing should be safe to put my hand in. Anyways, long story short, Flo gets sucked into the machine. She gets gooped up pretty good. It's long and it's crazy, and all the people are trying to pull her out of the machine, and they fail, and it's a big bloody mess. I mean,
and the whole time that she's being mangled and nobody's stopping the presses, Robert Englund is just like running back and forth, whacking his cane on the guardrail, going, ha 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 ha, yes, ha 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 ha, and nobody seems to notice.
He says, damn her for always getting in the way of being alive, because she fucked that up pretty good right there.
So here's the backstory with them. Okay, they used to date back in high school.
Okay, all right.
And then he was like, that baby's not mine.
Okay.
Which started her lifelong career at the washing woman station, because then she could stink eye him for the rest of his life. And he's just grown bitter and hateful towards her. And now their daughter also works there.
Spite job.
But what he doesn't realize is that he's sleeping with his own daughter.
My God, what?
Yeah.
Are you like, is this real?
No, I'm just making shit up.
Because all of those events could happen in this movie. That fits.
Could happen. I mean, it's probably not that far off.
Probably
Who's
not.
Lynn Suge? She's just some orphan that works here, and the boss wants to bang her.
They say that they found her on the street. So we don't know. She could be that daughter.
Got a missing daughter.
And the nice elderly old lady, she seems to have an affinity right away for this new worker.
Boy.
It could all be true.
Boy, is that guy old. You might say he's old, boy. You know that movie?
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. So there's blood everywhere. I got to say that this is up there for blood amount in a single scene in any movies. This is a bloody fucking mess.
I'm thinking that we got the rated R version through whatever is streaming this right now, because there was 2 versions and one was supposed to be a lot less gory. And if it's more gory than this, holy cow.
Holy cow. This is a lot of blood. Lots.
We watched the unrated version.
No, it said
lots of blood.
It said rated, actually.
It did? I thought it said uncut or something like that.
No. It said rated. It was rated fucking R.
Rated R. There was an MPAA-R version of this as well as the U.S. theatrics. So
yeah, it's pretty gory. Okay, so the owner's pissed off. The sheriff, Officer John, he gets called in. Oh, I'll take a look. And he's like, oh, that's real gross.
Does he really talk like that, do you think?
That's how he talks in Silence of the Lambs and all the other. Yeah, that's how he talks.
Yeah.
He's got a weird voice.
Does he have... Okay.
He's got a weird voice.
Let it go.
Yeah, no, he's
and
not.
He doesn't really move his mouth when he talks either.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Can you help me get this goopy body into this van? He's like, that's pretty nasty. He spews up his lunch that he had, which I'm guessing was Gerber, because it's pretty Gerber-esque food. It's gross. So the uppity-ups, they come in and they're like, nope, this machine is A-okay. See, there's a safety bar. It's the thing that got her arm. The safety bar came down on her arm and the conveyor belt then sucked her into the whole machine. So it is, in fact, a bar of unsafety.
It doesn't seem like there's a safety bar on there.
It's the cause of death is the safety bar, actually. Yeah. So I think it's the unsafety bar.
Well, if you really think about this safety bar, it has to click up into place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a whole body can get in there before the safety bar actually turns this thing off.
Yeah. It takes a minute too to shut that giant fucking chain-driven steam engine down. So,
do you think that they've got one person that's just pushing in the coal?
They have to
for this thing.
Yeah,
it kind of looks like a train to me.
Yeah, it does. It's locomotive-esque. Yeah.
Do you think the safety bar is actually just a spin? Like, what's that? That's the safety bar. Well, how does it work? It'll be the thing that drags you into your death, so don't touch it. I think safety first.
That
yeah, that was the design right there.
That's really it. So there's no charges. There's nothing happening. Not shutting the place down. Bartley can go on doing his laundry business. So sheriff's like, that's a bunch of bullshit. So he goes and has dinner with his pal in the woods.
So his brother-in-law.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
All right. So allegedly brother-in-law, whatever. This is just his next door neighbor.
It's also just his next door neighbor, yeah.
It's just his next door neighbor who's got sort of a fucking patio set up for hanging out.
But all his neighbor Mark, this guy's name is Mark. He's like, boy, you sure didn't eat much of your dinner. Mark doesn't have a plate of food in front of him. Officer John's got a full steak. Like, I cooked you dinner and now I'm watching you eat it. Do you like it? Do you like dinner? It's a strange neighborly relationship.
Mark is weird.
Mark is fucking weird, man. Okay. And he also, like, they live out in the woods. It's a strange thing.
No, he has a house.
They do, but they live out in the woods. It's in the woods. Like, the woods are there as part of their house for the scene.
I think that he just let his yard overgrow everywhere so that he would have places to put his wind chime collection.
That could be too.
And I think he probably watches a lot of, like, what is that? JTV, QVC.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, okay, ladies, if you haven't gotten this wind chime, and he's like one of the first 100 callers, and he's on that show like every other month. I just love the one with the little bird design. This one's going to sound so good next to the Mary Poppins one that I bought 6 months ago.
See, I think he's making the shit. That he doesn't have a job. He just sits around in his house shed next door to the only police officer in town and makes horse shit. Because when you go into his house later, there's
horse shit.
World War II plane made out of feathers with a chicken face.
Yeah, it's horse
shit. That was the
fucking
turkey fan.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
It's fucking weird. Mark is a weird dude. I would not be okay with Mark being my brother-in-law. And I definitely wouldn't live next to him after my wife died. Also, I killed my wife in a car crash, so probably not getting along very well. It's not your fault. Accidents happen, says Mark. I killed your sister, dude. Well, how about some more steak?
You'll have to move on.
Yeah.
That's what he tells him.
Yep.
You're gonna have to move on, dude. And I'm like, huh. They seem
So-
to have like maybe it wasn't an accident and it was like, well, she's dead and she's out of the way now, and now we can just have our weird little
We can be pals and you can
living
eat
next
steak.
door.
Yeah, I'll make you
Yep.
steak every night.
Since we're talking about it, Mark seems genuinely surprised when we get there. Like, oh, you killed your wife? Aren't you her brother?
Dude, you were there. We were at the hospital together that night. The car was all smashed up. Yeah. They had to get the jaws of life to get me out. You were there. we were at the hospital. We were all crying. That night.
And like,
Oh, that night. Oh, man. I thought we were crying over the Super Bowl. That was your dead sister. Oh.
well, and the guy drives like an asshole. Right?
Drives like an
Or would.
This is not the first time
No.
he's killed somebody.
No.
And, you'd think he would take this maybe third or fourth killing a little easier on himself because he has no intention of ever trying to drive like safely. He's like, nope, fuck it. You get in the way, you're roadkill.
These trees need to get out of my way. That's how I'm just going to plow into trees until they're all gone. Anyways, we got to move on. So Mark is like, oh, yeah. So lady died at the industrial laundromat. That's cool. I used to do laundry commercially when I went to Berkeley. That was one of the things I did at Berkeley. Big laundry guy in college. Okay, Mark, you're a weird guy. Yeah, I know that machine. It's the old Hadley Mason Mangler. They called it the Mangler. Why'd they call it that? Well, because it killed people. Well, it killed a lady today. No, that doesn't make sense. It has a safety bar. That is how that conversation goes. And it's you said it's called the Mangler for injuring people, and then when I say it injured somebody, he's like, no, that can't happen. There's a fucking safety bar. Then why do you call it the Mangler?
How does the safety bar work? Well, you stay the fuck away from it, because
Right.
if you touch it, it'll drag you inside and kill you.
Yeah, you'll get all mangled. All right. I'm on a one-man tough cop quest to shut down this machine. I gotta have justice for Flo, because he's also one tough cop. He drinks too much.
He is.
He
wants to
dead
drink
wife.
too much. He doesn't get to drink anything.
Right. Can't sleep. He's got all the staples of being one tough cop. Just 2 weeks in a row of tough cops.
Yeah.
All right, so another lady, she almost dies at the laundromat. That same fucking day, the hoses just start coming disconnected, spraying exhaust, hot exhaust, boiling water all over anybody standing within a 30-foot radius as their flesh flakes off of their bodies.
But you know what the best part about this is that nobody gets out of the way.
Nobody!
They just kind of huddle together and be like, we're gonna get melted together. Sisters forever, hold hands. We'll forever be together.
My hand came off.
You can't be part of the group anymore. Fuck yourself.
No! So dumb. The orphan lady that we talked about earlier, she's there as well, and she runs up to the owner, who's then like, you need to take a bath.
Yep.
She's like, okay. And then she starts, it's like uncomfortable, like, dance for me. Do it or
Yes.
you're fired. But then she starts crying, but then she's like, are you going to come in here or not?
Yeah. And then this is one of my favorite parts, because he's like, yeah. And then he gets like super dashing in his mechanical legs.
Right.
And once he gets in there,
Uh-huh.
if he gets in the bathtub, how is he getting out?
I don't know. It's
Or is
He
his legs
doesn't-
like rust proof?
it's fucking
Get
weird.
in there. He just watches her take a bath and breathes heavy.
Yes, Wash your knees. Get your elbows clean. Yes. Also, your beaver's really hairy and you're going to have to shave that. That's what he told her. Like, whoa. Hello.
Do you have a razor? No, you can take your chances with the Mangler.
Look, I'll be honest. Whatever happens with the Mangler, it can't be worse than what you got going on down there right now. It's real bad. Ew. P.U. too. Okay. So Officer John, he goes to the hospital and he sees the burnt woman. And she tells him that it all started when Sherry cut her hand. Oh, and Mark's there too. And Mark's like, wait, Sherry cut her hand? Oh, I've got a clue. I've got a hunch going now. I met Sherry. She's 30, right? She's like 30 years old. The actress.
Yeah.
She's not.
She's definitely a 16-year-old virgin. Are you sure she's not 28?
Did you see her? She's got creases in her eyes. She's got smile. What are those called? Smile lines?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's
the bartender at the Roadhouse.
She's dating Jeff Healey. So
Yeah.
I don't think she's a virgin. Okay, Mark is like, okay, we got to go back to my place. Let me show you this book. And he pulls out a fucking book of bullshit. It's fucking magic book. This is the book of magic of the universe. This is the real one. This one's got the real stuff in it. And he's like, so there's two things. There's a virgin and belladonna. And if you get blood of a virgin and belladonna together, that summons a demon who can...
Like Joey Belladonna from Anthrax?
Yeah. Wasn't there a wrestler named Belladonna too? Wasn't one of the
I don't know.
ladies
Jackie,
of wrestling?
is Belladonna a thing?
Yeah, it totally is,
Let me
dude.
check.
It totally is. It's part of the nightshade family. It's poisonous.
Okay.
It's poisonous.
Because
Commonly
it
known
doesn't
as
it-
belladonna or deadly nightshade is
Yeah.
a toxic perennial herbaceous plant in the nightshade family.
Yeah.
They put it in Tums.
That's what they gave Socrates, Sam. How do you not know that?
Serious side effects might include blurred vision, fever, fast heartbeat, inability to urinate or sweat, hallucinations, spasms, mental problems, convulsions, coma, and others.
Okay.
And they put that in Tums?
Yeah. In their Tums, they do anyway.
Fuck.
No.
It's commonly used for asthma, the common cold, hemorrhoids, Parkinson's disease.
Mm-hmm. And to kill Socrates.
Yeah.
And to kill Socrates. All right. Well, and I think it translates directly to pretty lady in Italian.
Yeah, it does. Bella. Bella donna. Get your boobies out. Because that's how Italians talk. Okay, all right. So,
Hold on, I'm looking.
oh, no, we got to move on. We don't have all the time in the fucking world to deal with belladonna. All right, so he's like, yeah, the machine's possessed because it got goop and some
It does
Tums on it.
translate to beautiful lady.
Yeah, dude, well done.
Thank you. I like to contribute to this podcast anytime that I have an opportunity.
Jesus Christ, Jackie. Yeah, it's pretty. Those are commonly known Italian words. Okay, so closing time back at the laundromat. The bath lady, she gets in the Mangler for some reason. I can't remember how she ends up in the Mangler. But the foreman, he shows up, runs up, and pulls her out. And then Robert Englund's like, come back up here. And she's like, I just came down from the bath thing. And now you want me to, yes, I will take care of you. Come up here. Okay.
The foreman's like, it just ripped her finger off. She needs to go to the hospital. He's like, no, she doesn't. She needs to come up here.
Yeah, come back to my office so you can have.
And I
another
like how
bath.
he's concerned about her,
Mhm.
but when his own granddaughter almost got mangled, he was like, or when she cut her hand open, he was like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, well, we find out why
niece.
later. So I think we find out why later. Still not real clear.
Kind of.
So Mark is like, hey, let's go talk to Sherry. And Officer John, he's like, so the circuits were broken. Okay, that makes sense after you cut your hand. Now we've got something going. And then Mark's like, by the way, have you had dick?
Yeah.
She's like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking creep asshole. I'm like, okay, at least they got her reaction right. Now I don't feel quite as like if she'd like cowered in fear of men asking about her sexuality, I would have been like, God damn it, fucking 1995, you piece of shit. But she actually throws them out of her house. So good for Sherry.
Yeah. And she's like, wow, I thought it was fucking weird when this asshole showed up and started telling me how pretty these dolls of nightmares were.
We also find out at this point that she is the granddaughter of the laundry guy.
No, she's her nephew or her niece, Jackie. That's her uncle.
Oh, that's her uncle. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but we find out that they're related. They live in this big ass house on
Right.
an estate.
Yep.
And she's working at the fucking laundromat.
Doesn't make a whole lot
what
of
the
sense.
fuck, man?
Doesn't check out. No, I don't understand.
Gotta earn your own way. Nothing's for free.
I guess.
He does say that.
Yeah, but she could just like move. I don't know. I guess she's 16. Okay, so back in the neighborhood, some kid crawled into that ice box that was on that guy's front yard and locked himself in there, and he fucking died.
And he died.
And I want to know how he died because there is a
Suffocation.
giant hole in the top of this
Yeah.
of this ice box. So it's like, how did he fucking die? There's a giant hole at the top. I mean, how did those birds get in there?
It's a good point.
You know?
There's birds in there.
Like, they flew down in there. Like, there is a giant gaping hole.
What? Why was he in there with birds?
Yeah,
Dead
that's
ones.
Another good question.
Dead ones.
Also, why are these birds still awake?
You mean
It's
the not dead
nighttime.
one? Yeah, no shit.
So throughout this whole scene, people just keep getting hit in the face with pigeons.
I love that. That was great. I believe this is the second week in a row where we've had pigeon attacks in a movie.
So the icebox tries to bite Mark's arm because I guess it got possessed too because it's got Sherry's bloody handprint on it, but it didn't get any Tums on it. So I'm not really sure where the belladonna came in on the icebox.
Or was the icebox independently possessed by a different demon?
I don't fucking know. Because the only way it could happen is if the belladonna doesn't fucking matter, the blood of the virgin matters, and an electrical spark, right? Because both of the machines got the electric
Sure.
spark of the blood of the virgin, and the demon then de-amoeba'd itself. I don't know what that's called, where the cells split. It did that, and now there's two of the demon inside each machine.
Or like there's the blood of the virgin on it, and then the demon laundry machine's like, hey, Steve, there's blood of a virgin on a weird fridge. Get up here. He's like, cool. I'm going to get in there.
I'll get hit it. I can't breathe.
Where are these dickheads taking me? They can't drive for shit.
Right.
How am I supposed to get anybody?
Or
A fucking fridge.
the icebox had a demon in it from before, and it had made contact with the laundry machine. That demon then leapt the laundry machine, but then there's still a demon in the... I mean, none of it fucking makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
By its
There
own
was
rules.
there was already a demon in the laundry machine,
Okay.
Yes.
but it only eats every... I don't know. Whenever there's a 16-year-old about ready to have a birthday, it's like, hey, baby, How about you
because
stick your hand in here?
It's the quinceanera cabra.
it's the quinceanera cabra.
Or chupa quinceanera.
Because I'm going with Sam's theory that they're just bros. They're demon bros. And he's like, get in this fucking icebox, bro. Let's chomp some arms.
Yeah.
Okay. I got nothing else going on. I'll be an icebox. Can I be a Corvette or something cool? Nope, you're an icebox. Damn it. All right. So then John's like, fuck appliance demons. Screw them. Send them back to hell. Give me a sledgehammer, and starts beating the shit out of this fucking icebox until the top pops up, and then a spirit tornado ensues.
Yes.
A spirit-nado.
Which is more demon than would have been shared by the machine. So it's got to be its own fridge demon.
Yeah. But now is it gone?
I guess. But then in the dialogue earlier, our man Mark, who's an expert on this, quote unquote, said you can't just like whack the top off of it because the demon could escape and start running amok. So that demon is now running amok.
It's out. Good job, guys. It's now at Sears. It's just like picking out dishwashers to get involved with.
It's the reason that Chopping Mall happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the reason that Mangler 2 happened.
There's no Mangler 2, Jackie.
There's Mangler 2 and 3.
You're kidding. Oh my fucking God. Jesus Christ. What's next? The garbage disposal? Dangerous enough on its own. My ring fell in there. And my Tums.
We invented a waffle iron that can make 15 waffles at once and also kill people.
Don't get your Tums anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that demon's out. And also the picture man is there.
And he doesn't take a picture of this.
Why is he there?
There's like a tornado of souls and he's like, whatever.
I personally like that he's also a major litter bug. So no matter where he goes, he takes his pictures and he just flops the flash out. And this is where I start I'm looking at the police officer, and he's like in a very 1950s, maybe 1920s kind of police officer outfit. Our main guy's driving like an 80s, 90s Jeep Grand Cherokee. Then we've got the old-timey photographer guy who apparently there's no budget to get him a better camera, or we are in the 1920s. I'm very confused about when this actually takes place.
JJJ.
And I know we already talked about it, but I was like all of these things are in these shots, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And this icebox is like super old for like the we're in the 1995s or whatever, 1980s. This icebox is super outdated.
Yeah.
It should gone to the dump.
Right.
Yeah.
With those
Also,
pigeons.
Mark is dressed like he's in the Human League.
Yeah, he does. Okay. Anyways, so Officer John, he goes to the morgue. He's like, I'll just go down there and check things out. So he checks out Flo. She got all stitched up together by the mortician. He eats, so we got that done. He's got a sandwich, so at least.
But Flo looks really nice.
She looks pretty good for getting crushed.
Oh yeah.
You know, turning into a pancake. She's
So is he just freelancing? Like, you wouldn't do that, right?
I think
you would if the family asked you to.
Yeah, I guess.
The morgue and a mortician are not the same thing. The morgue is like cause of death, mangled.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right,
Get
but
this bucket out of my face.
But, we're led to believe that this is a small community, a small town. So he might also be the only mortician.
He's double dipping. Could be double dipping.
Well, then what did he fill her up with? Because he was going to say, but then he's like, I don't want to know.
Right?
Marshmallows.
Yeah. She's a fluffy bunny.
Peeps that he microwaved. So they got real big. Because he has to, supply is only available once a year. And he's running low, so he microwaved a bunch of Peeps and shoved them in there.
Don't push hard on her. Glitter will shoot out her nose.
Okay, so he looks through her stuff and he finds the extra Tums, and then he just hangs out. He takes a break, sits down with a couple dead bodies, a dead kid, and a stitched up Mangler lady. And then the photog, JJJ Picture Man, comes in and says a bunch more nonsense. That's all this guy says throughout the whole movie. Just fucking nonsense.
Do you want to come down and play gin with me? I've been saving our last gin game from the last 3 years. From 3 years ago. Make a friend, buddy.
It's just fucking weird. So then John, he's like, okay, well, I'm shutting that machine down. I'm going to break into the laundry. So he goes in, breaks into the laundry facility. And then he goes and looks at the Mangler. And the Mangler's like, oh, yeah, I got your jacket. You're mine now. And so there's this whole scene of John trying to pull his jacket away and the Mangler pulling on his jacket. So the only way to get out of it is to pull out your 38 and shoot a bunch of lead into your jacket.
He shoots himself out of the Mangler.
And this is like...
Instead of taking his coat off.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the most bullets I've ever known a revolver to actually have.
Blows the hell out of his coat. See, the thing is he's now got a really holy jacket, and the only thing that would have happened to his jacket if he'd just taken it off is the thing that the machine actually is good at, which is laundry. Yeah. He'd have a nice crisp jacket, but he's not. Blam, blam, he'd pay for this.
It's a little strangely folded, but it's going to be okay.
I think that the Mangler was like, dude, when was the last time that this coat was washed? At least let me put some steam on it.
Give it to me. It's stinky.
I tried to help you, you stinky bum.
Stop shooting your clothes. So Robert Englund comes down. He starts talking to him. And they both say a bunch of mumbo jumbo. I have no fucking idea what they even talk about in this scene. But he lets him go. The foreman comes in and he says, well, maybe the Mangler should be shut down. And Robert Englund's like, what did you say? No, we can never shut it down.
The best part of this scene is they're doing this business where he's like, I'll shut you down. And he's like, I'll report you for breaking and entering. And then they go back and forth on that with different words of the exact same meaning for a little bit. And then Robert Englund walks up to him and he's like, all right, slow down here, sporty. And I'm like, Sporty?
Sporty?
What? I guess he is by comparison to you, but sporty?
Sporty.
Okay.
Okay. So Gartley, he calls the sheriff to deal with the foreman.
Is this how the phone works? He plugs in one line and then dials?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how.
He dialed 911.
He
dialed 3 numbers, 911.
Yeah, but why is he running his own switchboard?
Why does he have... This is not how phones work.
Yeah, and nothing else in this movie is timeline appropriate, so who knows? Maybe he's paranoid of wiretaps about his secret four-finger society, and he's got to keep it safe.
Okay.
But if you have a switchboard, you just plug the one end to the other, and then you've got that line open. You don't have to dial
line
anything.
Open, yeah. That's how switchboards work. You don't dial. Anyways. Then no, they don't know how phones work, Sam. Good pickup. And the bath lady, I guess, lives there now because she's still there. She's hanging out.
Why wouldn't she?
Because he's a fucking creepazoid? And she's crying?
Yeah, so she's no longer bothered by this arrangement.
She's
got on black
She's not there yet.
Lingerie.
She's not there yet. I know you can't wait to talk about it, Jackie, but she says, I think I'm sick. Probably because you're living above a fucking industrial laundromat that's spewing toxic gas everywhere. There's a guy earlier downstairs that was wearing a fucking gas mask. He's got the only one. We're sitting on like lye and fucking gypsum and all sorts of dangerous chemicals. Of course you're gonna get sick. We've all got cancer, you stupid.
You're breathing Tide Pods.
And he's like, Oh, you think you're sick? Well, let me tell you about my story. And so he pulls out a fucking piece of paper and he's like, see right here? Here's the contract where I bought the Mangler. And on the other side, I signed it in blood. She's like, that's a receipt, dude. Cool. You bought
That's the receipt for the folding machine downstairs that you bought from Sears and Roebuck.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's your Roy Rogers fan club certificate from a cereal box.
Yeah, neato. Meanwhile, I've been kidnapped against my will by you, and I'm dying of toxic inhalation. So he's like, no, now you're one of us. And so he grabs her hand and puts it on his bloody handprint. And now she is one of us. Gooble gobble, gooble gobble.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Okay. And so she looks up at him and smiles like, I'm not sick anymore. What?
Yeah, because she signed a contract with that.
We'll get there. We'll get there. You know that there's this whole thing at the end of the show where we say, okay, people, questions. That is the time that you talk about the thing you want to talk about, Jackie. Okay, well, meanwhile, back across town, Mark, he's got a magic plan. He's like, okay, so I did some digging, got on Wikipedia, got on TikTok, and what you do is we're going to throw holy water on it, and you're going to say the Lord's Prayer. That's going to fucking kick its ass.
So he's like, okay, exorcisms are pretty touch and go, and you got to really know what you're doing, and nobody goes, have you thought about calling the Catholics?
Who?
The Catholics, you call them. They have these guys.
Don't know.
There's a lot of times you don't call them, like broken down school bus. Don't call the Catholics.
No, this is Maine. We don't have those things here.
They don't have Catholics.
We don't have your
Do
fancy
Amish
town.
have exorcisms?
That's a good question.
No.
It's a good question. They build their own crosses, I'm sure. Actually, do the Amish even believe in Jesus? I have no fucking idea. I think Zedekiah. But
Sure.
Zedekiah and like all those fucking names are Old Testament names. There's no
Old Testament.
There's no Mark, Peter, Paul. None of those guys fucking show up in Amish towns. They don't name their kid Mark, Peter, Paul. I don't know any. Judas. They don't name him Judas. Everybody's favorite apostle, right? So maybe they're just Old Testamenters.
I don't know.
And they've got
Either way,
they've got the curly hair sometimes and the hats. Are they like Orthodox Jewish? Like, are the Amish Jewish?
I don't know.
I don't know. How has nobody asked these questions? Okay.
Either way, Mark is like, I read enough about exorcism to realize that you really got to know what you're doing. And I don't, but let's fucking give it a whirl.
Let's give it a try. The old college. It's 1 month for the Gipper.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the holy water?
I got it
from the
in
Catholics.
college for 17 years. We're going to give it the old college try.
Where'd you get the holy water if you didn't contact the Catholics, Sam?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You had to call the Catholics. You can't get the holy water.
You had to.
Unless it's just water. And he's like,
So that's got to be a weird conversation where he's like, can I have an exorcism kit? Are you going to try to perform an amateur exorcism? No, I just want to see it for a minute. Hold on, I have to go get something out of my car.
now, let me ask you, if I had a friend who wanted to attempt an amateur exorcism, does the clothes he wears matter? Should he have like the long trench coat, you know, like Max Van Sydow type thing? Do I need the collar, the little white collar, whatever that's called?
The dog collar?
Call in Russell Crowe.
Why would you call Russell Crowe?
Because he's on his third one of those Exorcist movies.
What Exorcist movies?
We're going to do one eventually. They're making money.
Russell
it's like
Crowe
the priest exorcist.
is not
yes,
in
Russell
any
Crowe.
Exorcist movies.
Yes, he is.
No fucking way.
Yes, he is.
No
And he
fucking way.
loves it too.
God damn it, dude.
They look amazing.
That guy
Really bad.
won.
I watched his last one.
Guy was on top of the
I
world.
knew you would.
How do you go from fucking Master and Commander to Exorcist knockoffs?
It's called The Pope's Exorcist.
No!
And there's like 3 of them now.
Great.
No. Russell, go back to punching people. You were happy. This is shit. God damn it. And I don't care what you say, Sam. Beautiful Mind is a good movie.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, I thought you did, and you didn't like it. You were like,
No.
"This is stupid." Oh,
You've
doing
been
X's and O's.
browbeating me.
Okay.
It's almost like I haven't watched it because it's like I know that the second I get done, you're going to be leaning over the top of me. Like, you just came from a different stage to be like, "Did you like it or not?" Oh my god,
Yeah, it's a good movie. You like it?
it's probably fine.
I don't even think Gladiator's that dumb. It's not great. It's not as blowjobby as everybody fucking gives it. Like it's fucking 300. Like, oh, I'm gonna be a gladiator, bro. But I think it's an okay movie. It's okay. Russell Crowe's great. Was great. Fuck that shit.
I like Russell Crowe.
Okay.
I'm excited to see him Russell Crowing out as the Pope's exorcist.
Hey,
He does a really good job. It's great.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. Just like he fucked up Noah. Okay.
He didn't fuck up Noah. He fucking made that shit viewable.
Naked planking. Okay, so meanwhile, the foreman and his buddy, they're getting to work on this machine, and Sherry decides to stop by for some reason. Like, I had no motivation to be in this scene, but here I am, ready to get blood sprayed all over me again at 80 point time. And so George, the foreman, you're kidding me.
George Foreman.
God damn it. Fuck this movie. I'm about to give it another
That's
finger.
it. I didn't get because it's George Stanner.
Right, but he's George the
So
Foreman.
you don't put together George the Foreman. Oh,
Fuck
boy.
you, piece of shit. All right, so, I mean, who's bigger in 1995 than George fucking Foreman, dude? He was like fucking king
He
of
was
the world.
as big as he
everywhere.
was going to be.
Yeah, damn. This movie sucks. All right, so.
Well, there's a good chance that that's actually when he was really big in 72 that the character was named George the Foreman in the goddamn
could
writing,
fucking
too.
be. Yeah, nice job, Steven.
That was not above Stephen King to do things like that.
it's
He
not.
likes to have a good time.
What was his pen name? Gordon Shumway? Was that what it was?
Richard for the Running Man?
Yeah, Dick. Oh, God, it was Richard.
Richard.
Ed. Nah, doesn't
I
matter.
read that. I should know.
I just wanted to say Gordon Shumway in this episode.
No,
So
that's Alf. That's a different guy.
yeah, totally different guy. All right, so George, the foreman, he gets sucked into the machine. His buddy's like, I can't chop your arm off for you so that you can live. Do it! Chop my arm off! I can't! I'm getting sucked into the machine and I'm going to die! Chop my arm off! Okay! So he chops his arm off and George just kind of rolls over and dies.
Yeah, it's could have gone in, whatever.
And then I think his buddy just dies too from, oh no, because he just crumbles on the floor as well. And then he's not in the scene anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Sherry's covered in blood. Ah!
Again. Richard Bachman.
Oh, yeah, right. Richard Bachman. Good job. So she's covered in blood again. She runs home to shower. Oh, the horror. And John goes to see the photog guy, JJJ Picture Man, for some reason. And but he's dying, and he gives old Ben Kingsley a run for his money here. Woo!
Oh yeah, I gave it definitely an eat shit Ben Kingsley
Eat
right
shit,
there.
Ben Kingsley. That was an amazing death. Terrible. Then he's like, oh, by the way, I just died, but I forgot to tell you beforehand that there's a package for you that I made downstairs. Just go find it. Downstairs? Yeah, I live underneath the morgue. Like way down there. This is like a 30-story police department for some reason. And it's
just the city building, I guess.
Yeah,
everybody that is in the city.
I gotta play. Like if you just go all the way down the stairs, you'll eventually run into my like 80 square foot apartment. That's basement level. It's just my apartment. Very small. It's fucking weird. So they find this package They open it up, and it's like a scrapbook of the Mangler. And they, 16-year-old virgin died. Huh.
He's made a scrapbook, but he's like, I took the cover off the Necronomicon for this.
That too, yeah. So a 16-year-old virgin died here. Oh, 16-year-old virgin's missing. It's weird that the newspaper's talking about whether they've had sex or not, but they sure, I guess it was the 1850s when this all started, and, newspapers are pretty wacky about the details they cared about. But, this one happened in 84, 16-year-old virgin. Huh. Okay. So they're starting to piece it together that every time a 16-year-old virgin sprays blood all over the place, it ain't great.
It's not great. They get more stuff.
More stuff.
Because there's clearly no profit to this. It's just like, we have to feed this machine our virgin daughters so that things can stay the same.
Exactly the same. I can live above toxic waste. And my legs don't work. And I'm mostly machine now.
Yeah.
So it's actually gotten quite a bit worse by me doing this. I also have to, there's these TPS reports that are always due. I mean, what am I doing here? I don't even like my life. Why do I keep feeding the machine 16-year-old virgins? It's terrible. So they call Sherry. They're like in a panic. Oh, God, Sherry, she's a 16-year-old virgin. And I'm like, no, she's a 28-year-old lady that has probably had a fair share of adult encounters. Uncle and Bath Lady, they're there at Sherry's house, though, and they grab her and they chloroform her.
Now, that's worse than that. Mm-hmm. So first she's like, I'm out of the shower. And she's like, oh, nice cake. And because it's a really nice cake for this movie. Ooh, nice cake.
Where'd you come from?
Should be the cake of nightmares, and it's not just a very nice cake. The girlfriend, Lynn Sue, is now dressed like fucking Run DMC.
Yep.
So she's evil, I guess. And they show up, and they wrestle her to the ground and chloroform her, and then start making out on top of her.
And with her, because he's
not
kissing...
even with her, just like on top of a limp body. Let's just make out on this passed out 16-year-old.
Well, he kind of does a weird kiss thing with the 16-year-old.
He does.
Too.
He gives her a smooch. So they take her to the Mangler. They got to throw her and he says, all right, I've brought the 16-year-old virgin. Consider my debt paid in full. So I think he's paying it off, Sam. This is just
and then what?
Really weird.
What does he get?
Nothing. It's paid off. It's a strange contract. This low interest rate program that Sears had at one point. We'll take 16-year-old virgins in payment, sure.
Keep his new Run DMC girlfriend
and the machine. It's paid off.
Oh,
the machine is paid off. How did you not get that? The whole Sears thing.
Okay. So they celebrate. So if things went right, he was going to celebrate later and just be like, pull out a boombox and make her dance to MC Hammer. This is hot.
The bottom. Hey. We just increased the bottom line. No more debt. Well, you weren't. If you're paying for it in 16-year-olds, you weren't actually paying for it in profit. So your bottom line's not really going to change.
100 fucking years.
For 100 years. So you're still a laundry guy. Oh.
Partay.
God damn it. What have I done? What have I done with my life? But John and Mark, they skid slide into the place. Hey, don't stick Sherry in that machine, dude. And so they get in a tussle, and John and Robert Englund are jostling each other.
what happens here is very quickly they run in and the tide is turned on them very quickly. Barely mobile elderly man starts beating the shit out of a police officer,
right.
and a lady dressed like Run DMC is beating up a college student, which isn't actually all that unbelievable, but he's getting his ass handed to him.
He's getting stuffed in the machine.
Mark sucks.
Mark's about to go into the Mangler.
Yeah.
Nice job, Mark. But instead he somehow, I can't remember how, she gets bonked into it or something, and Peggy Sue, bath lady, she gets mangled. She gets turned into goop, and
that's when Officer John is given his moment of beating a reprieve because the Robert Englund's character is like, Lin Sue, no, and he wanders around to see her pretty good mangled Lin Sue at the end there. I liked that.
Yeah, she's goopy.
Bucket of lady.
But then the machine is like, oh yeah, I'm either possessed or this is just a terribly designed machine, because it fucking picks Robert Englund up, sticks him on the little folding plate, and starts folding him up.
And then he gives his own eat shit Ben.
Oh yeah, because he's folded up. It's pretty, looks terrific, but it looks silly.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so he's dead. Okay. So now they start the exorcism. It's very silly. Very silly.
This exorcism is fantastic because about halfway through it, Ted Levine just starts yelling whatever. While the other guy, there's just two guys yelling at a laundry machine and wind everywhere.
Right. While Sherry goes, oh, in the back because she's still there. And like they're throwing shit at it, the holy water, and it sucks it in and it goes, psh, sprays them back. Whoa. And so they get going pretty good. And then it shuts down. It's like, you threw a Bible in me. They're like, whoo.
Let's all celebrate with some antacids.
Wait a minute. What's in those antacids? Belladonna! Oh no, we're fucked. Wait, why? What does that now have to do with shit? I don't understand. It was possessed before the whatever. Now it's like, I want your Toms, roar. And so it sheds its hardened steel chassis and transforms into I don't know what.
Skeletor's battleship.
Okay, it is turned into Skeletor's battleship.
It has the exact same shape.
I'm sure it had a better name in 1985, but you're too busy texting to fucking look it up, Jackie.
I bet it didn't. I bet it's called Skeletor's battleship.
Skeletor's battleship. Okay.
The naming on the toy line was not like fucking rocket science on the He-Man stuff. But it's dumb, and it's like, I'm a monster. Rah, and you're like, holy shit, that's actually a monster in this now. Demon monster. And it starts chasing them. And underneath, in the basement of the laundry, is the long stairway to hell, I guess?
It is the long stairway, the gothic stairway to hell. Because it's got gothic design.
They jump down it.
Well, you're missing the important part where...
I know. I'm just saying it's not really the stairway to hell.
Mark trips and is like, go on without me. And then the monster has... Its chains are now arms, I think. And it uses its arms to just tear Mark's legs off.
It rips him in half.
Yeah. Mark didn't make it. No, Mark. So they descend into the depths of hell. And then they end up jumping because Sherry's like, it wants me. Let me just give myself to it and this will all be over. And he's like, no, Sherry, no. Gotta get in the van. And she gets, I think, chomped up a little bit.
She goes and sticks her hand in it and it numbs her finger.
Yeah.
Nom nom.
Okay. Because it could do that. It could just take one finger. And then they fall into the sewers because the sewers are underneath the laundromat too.
Yeah, I guess the one you could descend into hell, or you could jump through door number 2 and you just end up in the sewer.
Mm-hmm. And then
it can't make it down there because it's too big, I guess.
Well, yeah, it blows fire at him, and then it just quits, and either goes away, or is not, like, the exorcism finally kicked in. It's unclear what happens to the machine. So they take her to the hospital, and the doc, he's like, oh yeah, we'll get her taken care of, but then he waves goodbye, and he's only got 4 fingers. He's part of the 4-finger club. What does it all mean? Well, John goes home, he gets the mail, and he gets a letter from J. Jonah Picture Man, and he says, there's lots of things missing in this town. Some of those things get found and form a club. I also had 4 fingers. Okay.
What?
I don't know.
And I was kind of confused by this part because he already left him a present, you know, that he's already gotten, and it told him about the 4-finger club, I thought.
No, it told him about the 16-year-old girl dying. The sacrifice.
Oh, the sacrifices from all the rich families.
Right, but not about the 4-finger club. But it was Robert Englund who told us about the 4-finger club.
So then he goes to visit his 16-year-old girlfriend now. Brings her flowers that he just took out of his dead neighbor's yard. And because that's what it looks like. He looks like he just grabbed a handful of whatever and is like, I brought these for you.
He's pulling a Larry David.
And she's like, I'm the new weirdo of this place. Why don't her legs work?
Because it's come full circle. She's now...
Yeah, but that doesn't explain what happened to her legs.
I don't know. And her fashion sense.
Well, and like, maybe she had a twisted ankle from falling all that way.
Maybe.
And so this is just a temporary thing.
Yeah.
No, she's got his legs. It sucks.
And it's like the beginning of the movie. She's barking orders to deadlines about the machine. The machine is back together too.
3 women like laboriously trying to jam sheets in this thing, and you're like, if it takes 3 of you to get one in there, just fold the fucking thing.
Just fold it. It's easier. God damn it. And then Sherry lifts her hand, and she's got 4 fingers. She's part of the 4-finger club. And Officer John says, nope. I'm done. I'm getting in my Jeep, and I'm driving south. Here we come, New Jersey. I'm done with fucking Maine.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. First question, what does it all mean? I have no idea what this movie's about at all.
I don't know what it means.
I am very open to suggestions. Jackie waited this whole podcast to jump on the 4-finger club question, and I still don't know what she's doing down there in the Skype window. She's playing with threads instead of asking and explaining what this movie's about.
It was about a laundry machine that got delivered from Sears.
Okay.
And some nut job talked all of anybody who wanted to be a super rich family person and in charge in town, the sheriff, the judge, any of those kind of people. Look, if you throw in your 16-year-old daughter into this laundry press, you'll have prosperity and the town will stay nice.
Okay.
But if you don't, then you get to be one of the schlubs that works here at the laundromat, because it's either here at the laundromat or at Joe's donut shop down the street, and Joe can only employ so many people.
Okay.
And Joe's already thrown in his 16-year-old and given up one of his fingers. Because what happened first is that the first person shoved the 16-year-old in there and then accidentally got their hand caught in the process and lost a finger. So they were like, well, maybe that's what we're all supposed to do. And the machine's like, no, I don't need a finger. And they're like, oh, nope. Joe's donut shop lost a finger. You got to shove your hand in there and lose your finger with the 16-year-old, and then put your hand on this bloody piece of paper from Sears Roebuck. And magic.
I don't think so.
Okay. So I got a sort of plausible, I mean, not plausible, but it makes it more palatable, is that last week when we're like, by the way, it's Satan, you're like, this isn't how Satan would fucking work at all.
Uh-huh.
Whereas this, it's got the Hadley whatever, that there's 6 letters and the number 6 in between. So you got the number of the beast there,
Sure.
and that
Okay.
Satan's demonizing this machine, and you're making contracts with Satan, and that they're in this, like, what they think is good, but they've signed their soul away to the devil, and they are just toiling. Like, this isn't efficient laundry, it's nothing. And so that explains, like, the selling the soul to the devil. They've done this, and they're in hell, essentially.
All of that works, except for fucking Sherry. Why is it that when she loses her finger, she becomes Robert Englund?
Maybe she sold her soul to save John.
Maybe just having that much money that quickly when you're 16 years old and being in charge of a laundromat makes you a fucking psychopath.
Makes you
because
you're
hormones
a
are
bit of a
everywhere.
dick. I'm not possessed.
You're
I'm
like-
just a fucking 16-year-old. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. You do what you know, right? And so she knows to be an asshole is
Sure.
how you run the laundromat. So this is not, she didn't sell her soul. She got her finger chopped off.
Yeah,
she's
she's
fucking
fucking
bitter.
pissed.
And now she's got a bunch of money and she wants to yell at the old broads that were mean to her when she was down on the laundry chute.
Yep. And the cop is like, what was I doing, dude? I was about to try to de-virginize it. Jesus, man. I got to get the fuck
Yeah.
away from this place. I'm the problem. You might be the problem, Officer John. Murdered my wife.
He was
Ugh.
not willing to stick his hand in the machine.
Yeah. Well, why would Officer...
No, he's just leaving.
He's just leaving.
guess.
Like, fuck this. What am I doing? Okay, I think I think it's a blend between the two of you. It's a Faustian contract that sends you to Dante's Inferno, and then she's just a 16-year-old bitch. So that's the
Yeah.
only way that this works. Which I think is pretty good for us to figure out. I think that's fine. That's better than Dreamcatcher, gang. So
Sure.
we've put it together. Nice work. Any other questions?
Does he call the Catholics now?
I was about to have sex with a 16-year-old. Could I sign up? Hey-oh, because the...
Yeah, I know. They're like, yeah. Sure. Do you need anything else? He's like, exorcism. They're like, excellent. You're going to fit right in.
Okay. Jackie?
So is the photographer and the doctor, are they the same guy? And after he died, he got like young again?
Why is he young again?
He's not the doctor. The doctor's a different guy.
Are you sure?
But the
Yeah.
actor plays the mortician. Or the morgue guy.
Huh.
All right.
I think that might have been his Faustian contract.
No, they talked about the doctor at various points. The doctor, the sheriff, and the judge
Okay.
are all in it
Okay.
with the blue ribbon laundry guy.
Okay. Because he doesn't have a finger. Because he also got it
Yeah.
chopped off by the Mangler at some point. I don't know. Or maybe his 16-year-old daughter got chopped. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm done.
Yeah, it takes your daughter, and then it's like, that's not enough. It also wants your finger. You're like, Jesus, that's a heavy price. What do you get? Nothing.
Jack shit. All right. I get to have my laundry machine paid off someday. In 16-year-olds. Okay. Final recommendations is where I'm at. I'll go first. Yeah. Do it. It's fucking weird. And it shouldn't exist because it's terrible and stupid and is not for anybody. Like, there's no way anybody was ever going to like this fucking movie at all, except for ironically. It's a weird... You've never seen a movie like this. I'll put it that way. You've never seen a movie like The Mangler. They made one. This is it. I say check it out. Sam.
I think it's absolutely a do. I loved it. Not just is it stupid, but it almost like re-enters into some level of intellectual palatability once like demons are more involved, and when the thing sheds its skin, it's that I don't want to say it finishes strong, but versus how it starts out, it finishes strong. Like the last 30 minutes of this thing, it fucking gets going, and it like you're expecting nothing but stupid disappointment, but in terms of what it is, and like it's so dumb. It's a fucking laundry machine. Oh my God, no.
The horror.
But it like fucking does it all.
Yep.
Like, it hammers home the horror. It's very 90s, late 80s with the special effects, and the creature becomes huge and you're like, holy shit, they did the whole thing on this. I've never even heard of this movie. I loved it.
Good. Jackie.
I'm giving this an absolute due. The overacting by Freddy Krueger guy.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And everything that you guys already said, but then just some of the like the one-liners and the shit that they do, and you're like, what the hell?
Why would you say
And
that? Nobody would say that.
Yeah. It's just funny and very entertaining. I was entertained the entire time.
It's over the top too. Like, and there's a bit of Toby Hooper making it over the top between the two of them. Like, this is ridiculous. And so it's a little self-aware, but at the same time, it can't be that self-aware because it's far too stupid.
Well, and you know that it's somewhat self-aware because when JJJ picture guy dies.
Hey.
I mean.
3 J's for a reason, Jackie. You're not just JJ picture guy. J. Jonah Jameson picture man.
Sorry.
Picture man.
JJJ picture man dies. I mean, like that whole scene, right? He sits up and he spits out the blood, and then he's like,
on the camera.
I mean,
he spits the blood on the camera.
Yeah. I mean, it was just great. I mean, just when you're just like, dude, I don't know what this movie can do better. And then Skeletor's evil ship comes into the thing and starts chasing people. And I'm like, this is great.
It's nanners. Okay. 3 news from us. I'm glad to see it. It's a good start to Nonsensical November, guys. It's a great one. Always go to Stephen King if you can for that. Stephen King and M. Night Shyamalan, those are the go-tos. But I am not going to Stephen King next week, even though I am going to Stephen King, because we have a listener recommendation that I mistakenly didn't bother to pull up on my phone first, because this is a pretty good email. So, oh, good. My phone is currently not working. So these are good words that I am using to fill time while my phone is a giant piece of shit while I look for this email from Adam. Haha, I've got it. Okay. Adam says, hey guys, love podcast. You all do such a great job. I'm going to be inefficient with a single recommendation instead of several at one time, but I never knew this movie existed until recently. Return to Salem's Lot.
I've heard of this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of this too.
It was a theatrical release, very timely for October, but very likely too late to work into your planned lineup. Oh my God. I can see you guys having a blast with this one. It's a gem starting from the first scene. You'd think the big screen follow-up would be better than the made-for-TV Salem's Lot, which actually was a mini-series, so we can't do Salem's Lot to work our way into Return Salem's Lot. And he says that he found the original or the recent HBO remake to be mediocre and rushed. Jackie, did you watch the HBO remake?
I did. I didn't like it that much.
What is it?
I thought it was really boring.
Mediocre and rushed?
Yeah.
Okay. It also underutilized Bill Sadler. Shame on them. Stay well.
Shame on them.
And keep up the great work. So we are doing Salem's Lot next week for Nonsensical November. I looked it up and it meets the bar. So we'll see what happens.
So do you mean Salem's Lot or Salem's Lot Return to Salem's Lot?
Return to Salem's Lot.
Return.
The Return.
Okay.
Beyond the Valley of Salem's Lot. It's my bag, baby, and it freaks me out. And get to the chopper.